I'm happy to greet you here. I'm happy to be with you. And I am from Baku, Azerbaijan, from Baku State University, Faculty of Journalism. Today, I'd like to share my ideas and my research on postmodernism and new media. And actually, these two factors are very, very significant factors for changing the world. Constantly changing world. Yes, we always say that, we always tell that the world is changing, but we know that the world has always been changing. And our world is a world of change. Changing means not to stand still. And it means you should always do something as an individual, as societies. If you don't do that, you don't develop. And it causes other different problems. There is nothing permanent except change. I think it's a very, very wise quote, wise sentence from Heraclitus. And the constantly changing world, I think the best description of this process is represented in Marshall McLuhan's Understanding Media, The Extensions of Man book. Marshall McLuhan states that everybody, humankind always develops something that will continue, that will be the development of the person's physical activities or body parts. For example, when we talk about a car, for example, according to Marshall McLuhan, a car is an extension of his legs. The cloth is the extension of his skin, and electricity is the extension of electricity. And theory's essence, I mean, when I say theory, I mean Marshall McLuhan's theory, extension of man. Theory's essence, there is always more to do, much more. And here is the quote from McLuhan's Understanding Media's Extensions of Man book. After 3,000 years of explosion by means of fragmentary and mechanical technologies, the Western world is imploding. During the mechanical ages, we had extended our bodies in space. Today, after more than a century of electric technology, we have extended our central nervous system itself in a global embrace, abolishing both space and time as far as our planet is concerned. Rapidly, we approach the final phase of the extensions of man, the technological simulation of consciousness, when the creative process of knowing will be collectively and cooperatively extended to the whole of human society, much as we have already extended our senses and our nerves by the various media. And the postmodernism, actually, it's the process that explains many trends and processes, today's trends and processes that take place now currently in today's world. As you know, words with the prefix post, it always means that one period in the world is over, or it doesn't matter if it's a process or a word or something or a notion. One period is over and the new one begins. Postmodernism and information society, these two notions, they perfectly complete each other. Information, as you know, classics mainly as they meant knowledge, they always mean books, classics. But modernists, they meant knowledge itself, knowledge. Postmodernists insist on information. Information is everything. And the experts who write, who explains information society, they always tell, yes, they have very, very different view on things, on processes, but they agree only on one point. Information is something very important. Postmodernism and post-truth. And these two, actually, they support each other. And later, in the next slides, I will talk about postmodernists' attitude to truth. And post-truth, in my opinion, is a product of postmodernism. Actually, postmodernism itself make itself be known in the 70s, in 1970s. And first they appeared in culture and art. As you know, all new processes first reflect themselves in art and culture. They make their ideas be shown, be seen, and the culture and art helps to see what is this. And for example, futurist, it's a special trend. Actually, at the beginning of 20th century, in 1910 and in 1920, they already supported, development and new processes in the world and in societies. And they strongly supported post-industrialism. I am talking about the beginning of 20th century. And history from the postmodernist point of view, they say there is actually, history is full of lies. Lie is everywhere. And they can prove it by saying that we don't know who wrote what, and who some written texts that we have. We don't know if they describe truth. Maybe, and in Azerbaijan, we have an expression, saray şairleri. And we know that these saray şairleri, they usually wrote about their sultans, shahs, about their kings. They praise them. And we don't know if they write truth. Most probably not. Most probably they write about their successes or just praise them. And truth, objectivity, and postmodernism. Postmodernists reject some universal notions such as truth, universal truth, and rationalism, and objectivity. They don't agree. They say there is no objective person. There is no objectivity. Everyone who claims himself or herself as an objective person, lying. And they say we are self-concentrated. Therefore, of course, I don't agree with this statement. I think we can try to be objective. Yes, we have very strong feeling of subjectivity, but we can try to be subjective. And objective. And so as I told you, they deny universal truth. And later you will see their quote from Jean Baudrillard, who is one of the main figures, main philosophers of postmodernism. By the way, postmodernism is an intellectual movement. It's a philosophical movement. And very interesting, there are lots of French philosophers in this movement. And Jean Baudrillard states that truth has no strength to fight with lie. And actually, I think I consider this notion controversial. They say there is no truth, but at the same time, they say, I'm talking about one person who is a well-known representative of postmodernism. He states that, yes, there is truth, but it is too, it has no strength to fight with lie. And I think, on the other hand, I think there is some kind of truth in this statement. And relativism is very, very important principle of postmodernism. They say everything is relative, and relativism and truth, they they deny each other sometimes in some situations. But relativism, I can be true in some situations, but or we all have our own truth, and therefore there is no general truth between everyone. And relativism, actually, I think it's a very useful for humankind. If actually they say Hitler could make sure German people to be to support him, to be ready for World War II, just because Germans generally, culturally, they support absolute truth. And they thought, German people thought, whatever Hitler says is an absolute truth. So that's why they followed him and they believed whatever he said. But relative thinking, I think it's very, very crucial for, especially for today's life, because as the speaker noted just before me, now we don't know what is true and what is lie. So we have to somewhere between these two notions, and not to believe, and at the same time not to think that yes, it's absolute lie or it's absolute truth. Culture and postmodernism. And culture, as I told you, postmodernism first reflected itself in culture, in art. They wanted to be shown because as mass media, culture is also of a massive character. Culture is seen and shared by many of people. It's kind of massive. And they first want to be seen by others, especially by middle class, because middle class was very, very important chain, important class between other classes in the society. And today, some experts who support traditional approaches, they state that postmodernism destroyed journalism. And as you know, journalism is their field of activity, which mainly practical for middle class. And today we all talk about it. We say that middle class is disappearing. But some, for example, in Britain society, they say, yes, middle class is shrinking because there will be no middle class, because everyone will be rich, everyone will be wealthy. I don't agree with this statement. I think maybe in some countries, middle class will be wealthy, but in some countries, no, it will be more poor. And so when they say now, currently, postmodernists, they highly support kind of mosaic culture. They say it's diverse, and you can have, for example, a notion contained or completed by the different components. So they say the culture should be mosaic. Today's, I mean, postmodernist culture. According to postmodernists, objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion that appeals to emotion and personal belief. See, Again, they reject objective facts and they say it's emotion and personal belief is guiding. And but I think it reminds us today's new culture. New culture usually appeal to emotions and everything related to emotions. Postmodernism accepts difference and irreducible conflict in human affairs and plurality in ways of being and knowing. And, they think human beings are always ready to fight. I think we must agree. Yes, fighting, and maybe I should use another word, struggling is a part of human lives. And but personally, now we see that new media create such environment. Today's media environment includes or accepts this conflict atmosphere everywhere. I mean, in social media. Postmodernism emphasizes the diversity of human experience and multiplicity of perspectives. I think I already talked about it. And quotes from postmodernists: "You must not believe that truth remains truth when you take the veil away. So truth has no naked existence." Again, truth has no veil. Truth has no naked existence. You must not believe that the real remains the real after you have dispelled the illusion of the real. So the real has no objective truth. Truth has no strength to fight with lie. Again, these quotations belong to Jean Baudrillard. Again, this is also from postmodernists. We live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning. Everywhere one seeks to produce meaning, to make the world signify, to render it visible. We are not, however, in danger of lacking meaning. Quite the contrary, we are gorged in meaning and it's killing us. Very interesting. Postmodernists, they are happy with mass media. I mean, they argue that mass media plays a very, very crucial role in society. And actually, postmodernists, they deal with everything that convey any information. Because as I told, classics focused on books as a source of information. Modernists focused on knowledge, and the postmodernists concentrate on information. Because new media and in general mass media presents information or conveys information, so they are happy with mass media. But mass media now, and some representatives of postmodernists, they claim that today's mass media, it's mass self-media. And it's very true. I think they admit this situation. There are, for example, someone has 5,000 friends in Facebook, let's pretend. It's massive, it's a big mass. But again, we don't know about them. We talked only to some of them. We are interested only in the things that close to us, that we are interested in. And I think it's a very true notion. Communication as a system of symbols. Yes, they see that symbols are everywhere. And any item, anything that conveys any kind of message, it's already a medium. And communication is a world of endless variations. And now today we see it in the new media, you can erase some sharing in one, for example, platform, for example, in Facebook. But you will see this, the same sharing in many other channels. And but it's not only it. It's a communication, as you know, gives us lots of ways to express ourselves. Advertisement, very interesting. Postmodernists deny truth. Postmodernists deny objectivity. But they say, you know, do you know what is the truth? Do you know what worth to do? It's enjoyment. Enjoy your life, enjoy yourself. And they think advertisement, people watch advertisement because they are not interested in goods or information about it. No, they don't. But they just enjoy these films because they are bright, they are short, they have original ideas. So they say, yes, advertisement is a way of enjoy yourself. But there are lots of, and communication itself is also the channel for enjoyment. And new ways of expression of information, tattoos, walls, clothes, and much more. As I told just a few minutes ago, everything that contain any kind of message is already a medium. So tattoos, walls, I mean graffiti, tattoos, they are also kind of graffiti, but on the human skin. And the clothes, you can see written sentences, messages on the cloth. They all are studied in the Western countries as a form, as a channel of messaging, as a channel of information. And I talked about it, I think. Do I have time? No? I will be okay, just quickly. Mass media is turning to mass self-media. I talked about it already. Extreme individualism. In the Western countries, now traditionalists, people who support traditionalism, they are very, very upset, or they are very angry about new trends in American society, for example. Now, their very popular slogans, you do you, live your truth, as if we all have our own truth. You do you, don't care about anyone else. Just it's you and your way. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you think is true. Psychological and attractiveness of new ways of expression and communication, entertaining content and forms. And we can see it in new media. Alternative voices, just very quickly, just 1 or 2 minutes. And so now new media, they don't use, it's this deconstruction of authorities. Now people don't believe authoritative sources. They believe people who is in new media. They invite or they find someone who were a witness or who had any kind of, case, and they ask questions from these persons. And you believe them because they are not authorities. But who knows how right are they, how correct they are? We never know. So witnesses now are becoming, only witnesses are becoming the source of information. Thank you for your attention.